Coming up on the October 13th edition of Sports Extra, there was no end of the rainbow for Carolina. The Tar Heels went to South Bend and nearly pulled off the upset. What does this mean for the team's mindset going forward?
Field hockey's domination continues. It's easy to see why this team is best in the field.
And check out these two brothers, how golf has brought them closer together. All that and more, Sports Extra starts
right now.
From the University of North Carolina School of Journalism and Mass Communication, covering the full range of Tar Heel athletics, this is Sports Extra.
Close but no cigar. Hey everyone, welcome to this October 13th edition of Sports Extra, UNC Student Sports Highlight and Analysis Show. I'm Alana Albrecht.
And I'm Luis Fernandez. Now, it might not go into the win column, but that comes as close to a moral victory as possible for Carolina football. In a high-scoring battle, Carolina came up just shy of beating the number 6 team in the country in its home stadium. The Tar Heels got off to a fast start. Freshman running back Elijah Hood had this 6-yard scamper into the end zone to get things going. Fun fact, Hood was originally a Notre Dame commit. Check out how well senior linebacker Jeff Schottmer read this pass by Notre Dame's Everett Golson. Pick 6, 14-0 Carolina. Now let's go ahead and fast forward to the third quarter. Good old Larry Fedora dials up a trick play. Quinshad Davis, the quarterback Marquise Williams. Williams had a great day, but you know what? I think we'll get back to that later. So Carolina leads by 1 at this point, but the Fighting Irish came storming back, scoring 15 unanswered points in the fourth quarter. Carolina loses 43-50. There's a lot to take away from this loss. Some bad things, yes, but a lot of good things too. Notre Dame was the number 6 team in the country. That's top 10. The defense was able to make plays, and the offense, oh boy, it looked good. Coming into this game, the Fighting Irish had allowed just 12 points a game. Now, I'm not a math major, but 43 is a lot more than 12. 10 different players had at least 1 catch. There were 510 yards in total on offense and more than 80 plays. That's what Larry Fedora's offense is supposed to look like.
Now, let's be honest, Lewis, the main reason why Carolina's offense looked so good was a certain quarterback.
Yeah, you're right, Alana. This was the Marquise Williams show. It doesn't matter whether it was passing, rushing, shoot, even catching the ball. Are you serious, Marquise? He's bringing a new meaning to the term triple multi-threat quarterback. He also had some great passes. It wasn't just athletic plays, including this one right here to quarterback Quinshad Davis. Let's break it down really quick. The pocket was starting to collapse around him, so he steps up and throws a wild off-balance throw, but still perfect accuracy. That's crazy. Williams wasn't just running into good open spots. He was running through and past people. Yes, it is true that quarterback Marquise Williams made 1 mistake, but he was just trying to make a play for the team when they needed it. A big reason for success, I think, this guy, quarterback Mitch Trubisky, did not enter the game.
A game like that, big guy deserves a little more love, which brings us to this week's hidden stat. Williams put that team on his back, though. Williams had 458 yards on offense. There were only 52 yards on offense that he didn't account for. The only time Williams picked up more yards was against Old Dominion last season. He had 469 yards and the team scored 80 points. Williams is always talking about the team finding that dog inside them. Well, he didn't just find a dog, he ran into the whole pound. You know what? Let's give him another hidden stat. It wasn't just in yards. Williams had plenty of touchdowns too, 4 in total, which is pretty good, but it's about how he got them. 1 in the air, 1 on the ground, and 1 in his hands. Yep, passing, running, and receiving. That's no big deal for Marquise Williams, though. In fact, it's the 2nd time that's happened in his career. The other time was last season against UVA.
Now, I hate to rain on the parade, but ultimately, a loss is a loss, no matter how well the team played. When you look back at the game, you have to remember special teams. Now, special teams struggled. Nick Weiler here missed a short field goal. It was his first miss of the season, so gets a little bit of credit there. The extra point here was blocked. That's no good. Sets up having to go for a 2-point conversion, and those are never easy to convert. Let's take a second to talk about this roughing the snapper penalty, though. You don't see that very often. You have to give the snapper time to establish and protect himself, which wasn't allowed. It's a 15-yard penalty for first down. Let's watch Norkeithus Otis here. Yep, he didn't even look up, and he hit him. That's not too good. We also have to bring up Ryan Switzer when we talk about special teams. He had some good plays, but he's taking a lot of risks, like in this punt return here that went for minus 12 yards. Special teams was a real strength of the team last year. Now, there's a lot of inconsistency there. So Coach Fedora has been preaching this for a few weeks now. It's about the little things. The football team has made improvements, and there is reason for optimism. But it's the little things: penalties, turnovers, missed tackles, keeping contained, playing your assignments. The good news is a couple tweaks here and there, and you might start to see this level of play from the Carolina team every weekend.
Well, Carolina fans will hope that team shows up this weekend for sure against Georgia Tech. The Yellow Jackets are 5-1 this year. Their first loss was Saturday against Duke. Georgia Tech is rushing for just a little bit less than 300 yards a game. Classic Yellow Jackets. Since 2004, Carolina has beaten Georgia Tech only twice. The Heels play the Yellow Jackets every year. And if we want to get technical about it, one of those wins the Heels had to vacate because of NCAA violations. So, based on the encouraging performance against Notre Dame, what are the Heels' chances against Georgia Tech? Let's go live to Susanna Black at Kenan Stadium for some insight about that question and for a bird's eye view of the tar pit.
Alana, if the Heels can duplicate the effectiveness that they showed against Notre Dame through the air, and the defense can hold Tech to, let's say, around 30 points, I think that they have a legitimate shot. Now, speaking of things going through the air, one man is going to give us an aerial view of the action on the field and in the stands. When Jaslyn Pickett saw it, she says she had no idea what it was.
I just saw this thing about this big, it looked like, and it was just hovering over the field.
So she decided to look it up.
It says here that any unmanned aircraft is a drone.
And that's exactly what it was. Jeff Camarati's drone.
A Storm Drone 6.
He uses it to take photos. As the official photographer for UNC Athletics, he is the only person taking photos for all 28 varsity sports. Not only does the drone help him,
This allows us to get some footage that we might not otherwise be able to get.
It benefits the athletics department too.
The big money saver is not having to hire a helicopter to get aerials of the stadium when it's full.
Camarati assembled the drone himself.
First started with a simple airframe and wanted to go with the 6 motors.
Then attached his GoPro.
It's limited because it's a GoPro, but we're able to use them in more ways and are actually good enough. We've made several poster-sized prints out of them, and yeah, they've held together very well.
Even though it's used only to take photos, Piggott says she and other students didn't know what to make of the drone.
When I first saw it, it reminded me of the UFOs or the things you see on movies. I knew that probably wasn't what it was, but that's kind of the first thought that came to my mind.
Camarati says to rest easy, though. Not only is it not a UFO, it's not the kind of drone to worry about either.
A lot of people, when they hear drone, think of the airplanes and unmanned aircraft that you see on the news. Yeah, this is very different.
Now, it's a night game against Tech, and we all know what a difference a full day of tailgating can make and anticipation on the atmosphere in the stadium. Now, we have diehard Carolina football fan and UNC junior Miles Robinson here with us. Miles, do you think the win on Saturday helped the Heels turn a corner, or do you think that it's going to be a very long season?
I think it was definitely a page turner this past week. I'm looking forward to this weekend because I think that if we can get all 3 phases together, including special teams, that we're going to have a lot better chance the rest of the season.
And that's just something I guess we'll have to wait and see this weekend. Now, Alana, a win on Saturday could be the difference between becoming bowl eligible or fading away to a very long season.
That was Susanna Black reporting live from Kenan Stadium. Thanks, Susanna.
All right, we're going to go ahead and go straight from the field to the court. The men's basketball team held its annual media day recently. Joining us now to talk about what the players were talking about is basketball analyst Brett Thompson. How was everything, Brett?
Thanks, Lewis. Fans got their first glimpse of the UNC basketball team at Late Night with Roy. And after Carolina hosts the media day, they can now have their first listen.
Looks like we're having some technical difficulties. We are going to throw it back to Brett on Chroma. Live.
Sorry about those technical difficulties, guys. So basically, Coach Williams doesn't believe he has the proven leaders to lead the team. He does have one player returning from last year's campaign who carried the offensive burden, which is expected to do the same again this year. Marcus Page says he's ready to shoulder the pressure and the expectations. We will hear what he has to think about next year. Again, we're having some technical difficulties. I apologize.
Yeah, technical difficulties, like we said, Brett. Sorry to hear about that, guys. We'll be sure to tell you all about men's basketball going ahead. No worries. There's going to be a lot to talk about for sure if the team has such a successful season as we are expecting. So that was, like I said, that was basketball analyst Brett Thompson. Thanks, Brett. Coming up next, field hockey is dominating 3 games, 3 wins.
We talk about the best team in Carolina Blue next on Sports Extra.
Connect with us online by liking the Sports Extra Facebook page and following us on Twitter @SportsExtra_UNC.
Staring contest! You still got it. I know. Come alive with the forest. Visit discovertheforest.org to find a forest near you.
The smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life. Take time to be a dad today.
No more pencils, no more books, no more teachers, dirty looks.
School's out!
For summer.
What this place needed was better graduation rates. So we worked with schools like Henry Ford High, and now they're up 18%.
To help us do more good this year, go to unitedway.org because great things happen when we live united.
Me llamo Raquel Mendoza y esta es mi vida. Mis hijos están envueltos en muchas actividades. Eso requiere mucho estrés y correr para acá y para allá. A veces mi familia necesita un escape. Este lugar trae mucha paz y hay mucha calma, mucha naturaleza. Quiero regresar con mi familia más seguido.
Encuentra el bosque más cercano en descubreelbosque.org. El bosque, más cerca de lo que crees.
Welcome back to Sports Extra. I'm Brett Thompson. We're going to talk about Carolina basketball for a little bit. So, fans got their first look at Carolina basketball at Late Night with Roy, and now after UNC's media day, they're going to have their first listen.
We haven't proven yet that more than one guy can step out to the three-point line and make the shot. So I don't think that I can even answer that question yet because nobody's proven all those different things.
So while Coach Williams doesn't believe he has the proven leaders, he does have one player returning from last year's campaign who carried the offensive burden and is expected to do the same again this year. Marcus Page said he's ready to shoulder the pressure and the expectations.
If there's pressure on you, that means people expect you to have a big year, and I expect myself to have a pretty big year. But at the end of the day, I haven't changed my approach. It's the same as last year. I'm still trying to do whatever I can to help this team win.
The team is expected to win more than its fair share of games, and expectations for winning in March are lofty.
As far as we want. I see this team going as far as we want. We put our minds to it, we can go wherever we feel like we can go. I mean, we're the only ones that can stop us. That's how I feel.
With all this talk about basketball, it's time to start marking your calendars for the beginning of the season. The men's basketball team will host a pair of scrimmages against Fayetteville State and Belmont Abbey. Both of those will be on Friday nights at the Dean Dome. The Heels then open the regular season by hosting NC Central and Robert Morris in the same weekend. You can catch both of those games on ESPNU. Then, while we have the men's team coming up, we also have the women's basketball team opening up their season. They're led by returning Sylvia Hatchell and will host a pair of scrimmages against Carson Newman and Wingate. The Heels will then host Howard and UCLA in their opening weekend. All games are going to be at Carmichael Arena. So, not that we're counting, but that first exhibition game is in 11 days, 2 hours, and about 20 minutes. Lewis, back to you.
Basketball analyst Brett Thomas, thanks for having. Thanks.
It was an exciting weekend for the high-flying field hockey team. The Heels defeated VCU Sunday 8-1. Although senior Charlotte Craddock was out this game, the Heels managed to take advantage of 8 penalty corners to defeat the Rams. Nina Notman had a great game, scoring 3 goals, 2 off corners like this one. Emma Bozak also had an impressive game with this goal and 5 assists. The 8-goal game marked the highest scoring game of the season for the Heels. The women's field hockey team scored a total of 17 goals this weekend, playing Wake Forest, Longwood, and VCU. The only one that was close was in Winston-Salem against the Demon Deacons, a 2-1 win in overtime. Wake Forest was ranked 17th, and guess who broke the tie? The captivating Charlotte Craddock. That's her 3rd game-winning goal in overtime this season. The rest of the weekend, Carolina outscored its opponents 15-1. The next game for the Heels is Friday in Durham when they take on number 9, Duke. 2 of the past 4 games against Duke have gone into overtime. Now, behind every great team is an even greater coach. For the UNC field hockey team, that coach is Karen Shelton. Morgan Ammons tells us about the stellar program Shelton has built at UNC.
6 NCAA championships, 18 ACC championships, and 31 winning seasons are just a few things head field hockey coach Karen Shelton has accomplished at UNC.
And it's all an unbelievable thrill, and it's something the kids take for the rest of their lives, which is cool.
As a player, Coach Shelton has experienced some thrills of her own, even playing in the 1984 Olympics.
So I was fortunate enough to be in the LA Olympics and actually medaled, and really, one of the proudest moments of my life.
She credits her proud moments as a coach to the things that draw top talent to enroll here.
And I credit a lot of our successes, just about all of these successes, not to me or to my staff, really. It's to the University of North Carolina that can draw these exceptional student athletes.
Senior Lauren Sheely says the relationships Coach Shelton builds with her players makes her coaching style unique.
She's really easy to work with, and the better relationship you're going to have with the coach, the more you're going to want to work for her, and that's definitely been the case this year.
More than anything, Shelton enjoys watching her players develop not only as athletes, but as young women.
It's never been about the job or the money. It's been about representing the University of North Carolina and working with great kids and doing something that I believe in, which is empowering young women.
To empower herself, Shelton keeps her 9 NCAA runner-up trophies in her office as inspiration and as a reminder of how much better it feels to win the title. In Chapel Hill, I'm Morgan Ammons reporting.
Coach Shelton and her husband Willie Scroggs, a former UNC men's lacrosse coach, have a combined 9 NCAA championships. Now that's a power couple.
The women's soccer team defeated Wake Forest 3-0 Thursday and kept its ACC winning streak alive yesterday against Pitt. Things didn't start well for the Heels after a yellow card on Satura Murray led to this free kick goal for the Panthers midway through the first half. The Heels regrouped quickly and tied the game when sophomore Emily Bruder broke away and scored from just inside the penalty box. The game wasn't tied for long, though. Bruder struck again with a game-winning goal 6 minutes later when she settled the ball from a Pittsburgh defender and kicked it in from 6 yards out. Those 2 goals were the first of Bruder's career and helped the Heels improve to 6-0 in the ACC. The Heels seem to be finally finding their footing after a stellar performance from the men's soccer team on Friday night. The Tar Heels took down the Hokies, winning 5-0. Senior Andy Craven led the Heels in the first half, scoring 2 goals within 5 minutes of each other. Wow. A rain delay at halftime kept the teams off the field for 2 hours, but Even though most of the fans left, the Heels, they weren't fazed. Walker Hume, Tyler Angle, and Robbie George scored in the second half, cementing the Tar Heels' victory. The Heels will return to Fetzer Field on Tuesday against Georgia State.
The volleyball team added another W to its record on Friday against Virginia. The Tar Heels dominated the entire match, coming away with a 3-0 victory. Lee Andrew had a great day, 11 kills and 9 digs. The team's winning in an impressive fashion. Through 15 games, the Tar Heels have lost only 11 sets. Carolina's next game will be Friday in Raleigh against the NC State Wolfpack.
Women's lacrosse played Johns Hopkins this Saturday, but they didn't keep score. Sunday, the Tar Heels beat the Loyola Greyhounds 16-13 in a scrimmage. Goalie Kaylee Waters, defender Courtney Waite, and midfielder Maggie Bill weren't at the exhibitions this weekend. They took part in 3 victories with Team USA. The swimming and diving team is making a splash.
And that's helping them sink the competition. Next on Sports Extra.
That's low and look, he's blushing. Seriously.
The swimming and diving teams started off the season in impressive fashion with their first victories against the Tennessee Volunteers. It was a record-setting meet for the diving women, with freshman diver Elisa Dawson taking first in the 1 meter, breaking the school's 2011 record by 15 points. Junior Michael Tim did the same in the 3 meter diving with a score of 322.35. The men's side was equally impressive, with freshman distance swimmer Henry Campbell taking first in the 1,000-yard freestyle, while junior Logan Heck took first in the 50-yard sprint with this photo finish. The UNC men and women swept Tennessee 170-130 and 204-96 respectively. Junior captain Ben Colley said it was good to see the freshmen stepping up for their opening meet.
I mean, I think as a whole we did pretty well. I mean, I was most impressed with the freshmen. It was their first collegiate meet of the season, of their career, and you know they stepped up and raced hard, and it was good to see.
The UNC swimmers and divers will be back at Corey Natatorium this weekend against Georgia on Friday and Virginia Tech on Saturday.
With October comes postseason baseball, and if you've been following the MLB playoffs, you might have noticed a few Diamond Heels vying for a World Series title. Pitcher Mike Moran and catcher Chris Iannetta of the Angels saw an early exit at the hands of the Kansas City Royals, but not before Iannetta took them deep in Game 1. Orioles reliever Andrew Miller has been lights out for Baltimore, pitching 6 1/3 innings and giving up only 1 hit and 1 walk while striking out 7. What a dime. With a perfect 0 ERA, that's amazing. But things aren't looking too good for Miller and the Orioles. They're down 2-0 in the series against KC. Now, from one diamond to a slightly smaller one, the softball team also got some fall action this weekend, and blowout doesn't really capture the essence of the game against NCCU. The Tar Heels dominated against the Eagles, winning the 21-1. The Heels blasted 6 home runs with 2 by senior Katie Causey. Defensively, the Heels were on their A game as well. Pitcher Cindy Matsko held off the Eagles, striking out 3 through 4 scoreless innings. Not much to worry about. Akila Mateen even had time to work on some of her dance moves. Good ones they were. The win Sunday night wraps up the Heels' fall schedule, and they'll be back in action in the spring.
Let's not forget a bunch of other Olympic sports teams played this weekend. Let's take a look at men's tennis first. At the Wake Forest Fall Invitational in Winston-Salem this weekend, junior Chad Hoskins lost in the consolation final to Louisville's Courtney Locke. Duke defeated partners Stuart DePaulo and Mike Ulrich 8-3 in the doubles match for 3rd place. Now, the rowing team opened its fall season on Saturday in Norfolk, Virginia, racing against Old Dominion on the Lafayette River. The Tar Heels topped ODU in the varsity 4 race, and won by a 29-second margin in one of 2 varsity 8 races. It's impressive for one family member to play a varsity sport, but how about 2 on the same team?
When we come back on Sports Extra, how golf pushed these brothers forward and closer together.
Don't forget to tune into our sister shows, Carolina Week at 5 p.m. every Wednesday on Time Warner 24 or Campus Channel 34, and Carolina Connection at 8:30 every Saturday morning on WCHL 97.9 FM.
The great outside. My new mom and I have a lot in common. So shiny. We both love the outdoors. That's not a flower. And she knows a lot about wildlife. A labradoodle.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of kids in foster care will take you just as you are.
You wouldn't let money just blow out of your house. So when your AC or heater is on, make sure the doors, windows, and fireplace flue are shut tight. If you're headed out, turn down the AC or lower the heat by 10 degrees. And always keep your water heater set at 120. A little bit of common sense goes a long way. Get more great tips at energysaver.gov.
Everybody has a dream. Mine was to see the ocean. And with a little help, I made it.
Women's golf teed up this weekend. The team hosted the Ruth's Chris Tar Heel Invitational at Finley Golf Course. It might not have been as eventful as Caddyshack, but it definitely wasn't a smooth ride for the Tar Heels. Play came to a halt on Saturday due to heavy rain, but resumed Sunday morning when Duke held off South Carolina for a 2-stroke victory. The Tar Heels struggled to make long putts, which proved costly as UNC finished 10th in the field of 18.
Now, there are a number of great brothers tandems in sports. There's the Mannings in football, the Stalls in hockey, and the Gasals in basketball.
Caleb Waters tells us about one dynamic duo on a golf course near you.
For Robert and William Register, golf seems to run in the family. Robert, a senior, and William, a freshman, are both members of the UNC golf team, a pairing they've seen coming for years.
I looked around a lot of different schools and figured this was the best place for me. And then he decided pretty early on that he wanted to do the same thing. So he committed like as a sophomore in high school, I think. So we've known that it's coming for a while, and it's pretty cool to now live it out for a year.
William has already won one tournament this year, and his older brother has played an important role in shaping his game.
I've made a lot of decisions, like going out to practice. Like if Robert was going to go out to practice, I was going to go out to practice. If he was going to go work out, I was going to go work out. I didn't what he did definitely made me decide like what I want to do.
Although they're teammates for a year here at UNC and often competed growing up, Robert says family comes before golf.
I'd say we're definitely brothers first. We've grown up, spent a ton of time together, so we're really close. We do pretty much everything together. When we were in high school, we won a state championship together on the team, which was pretty cool. But yeah, I definitely say we're brothers and friends first, and then teammates second.
He has a great work ethic. I've learned so much from him, just being around him all the time. So pushed me to work hard and just trying to model my work ethic after him.
Even though Robert will be leaving Chapel Hill after this season, golf will almost certainly continue to play a major role in their relationship. From Chapel Hill, I'm Caleb Waters, reporting.
That does it for this edition of Sports Extra.
Now, fortunately for us, UNC has fall break this weekend. Unfortunately for you, that means no Sports Extra next week. Sorry, we hate to break the hearts of all of our adoring fans out there. But keep your head up. We will be back on October 27th. So it's going to be a fun fall break. I know we'll have fun. There'll still be a lot of sports. Make sure you watch the Carolina Tar Heels play football, and it'll be great. Thanks for watching.
Have a good night.